everyone, it's Amber, and today I'm going to be doing a very quick, spoiler-free review of Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I just read this book the other day, and I really loved it. It was so good, and it's one of those books that I'm still thinking about after I read it because I enjoyed the characters and the story and the adventure of it so much, and I just really loved it. So I want to share that love with you guys in a video dedicated to the book and review it for you guys so that you guys can read it and hopefully tell me what you guys thought of it down below. So first of all, this book is a pirate book, and it follows this girl named Alosa, and she's the daughter of this infamous pirate king, and he sends her on this mission to get captured on purpose by this enemy pirate ship in order to obtain a portion of this map that once the three pieces are put together, they'll lead you to this epic, awesome treasure. And he already has one portion because one portion was given to each of like the three main pirate lords, and it sets off from there. And basically this whole entire book takes place on a pirate ship, and it's marketed as a pirate book, and I find that a lot of books that are marketed as pirate books like let you down on the pirate aspect. And there also aren't that many pirate books or books that are just dedicated solely to pirates, and this one is. Like, I love pirates. I'm a big fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean. I could definitely tell that the author was as well. This book is definitely not a retelling or a reimagining of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise at all, but the author did definitely pay tribute to it. She put a quote from the third Pirates movie in the beginning of the book, which is kind of cool. You can definitely see where she got the influence from the movies, but it doesn't take over the book, and the book isn't predictable at all. It's its own story, and it stands alone from Pirates of the Caribbean, but you can tell that she got inspiration from that, and that Jack Sparrow is definitely a very influential character in her writing, and that she used it for research, which I really love because I've been looking for something that's like Pirates of the Caribbean, and she definitely delivered on that. And Alosa is marketed as a female Jack Sparrow, which you definitely get. She's very mischievous and very piratey and scheming and stuff, and that is what I love about pirates, because you never know what's going on in their head, and that's kind of the same thing with this main character. Like, it's from her point of view and it's in first person, but also some of the things that she does, you're like, why are you doing this? And then it's revealed that like she's trying to like trick this thing around, and then you're like, oh. I like that aspect, that even though it's in first person, you're still sometimes kind of like tricked by her own thoughts, and it's just really cool in that way. But there's also a tiny bit of magic in this book, which I wasn't expecting, but I really enjoyed. It's just the tiniest bit of magic that's in this world, and it's definitely a very cool aspect of the story, which I really liked. There's also a love interest in the story, which I really enjoyed. I don't think that the love interest or like the romance was rushed at all. It felt like it went at a steady pace, and it was kind of like the banter between them is super funny. They kind of play off of each other in a really funny way, and that's one of my favorite things about some romances. You just see the way that they like banter back and forth, and it's so funny, and I just love it so much. That's just one of my favorite like romance tropes. It's kind of like the hate to love thing with the banter and all that stuff. I just love it. But this book is just one big epic adventure, and it's such a good beginner fantasy book in my opinion. Like, if you haven't read a lot of fantasy, this is a great one to really get you in like the fantasy mood. It's just kind of like a one-off adventure type of story, and this little quest, and the world is not too expansive or big or anything. It's not confusing at all, but it still has all of the elements of great fantasy that you really want, like just a little magic romance. If you're looking for a good pirate book with a very cool main character and a cool setting and a very fantasy-like but very fun and kind of lighthearted feeling story, this is very perfect for you. And if you haven't read a lot of fantasy, this is also perfect. I'd say even if you have read a lot of fantasy, this is still a good one to pick up because it's just such a fun book. I just really enjoyed it. It was just so much fun to read, and I just found myself like I just couldn't stop reading it. I was just sitting down and I just was flying through the pages. It read like a movie, and it definitely felt very like cinematic in my head, and I could see everything very clearly, which isn't something that happens very often for me, and it happened with this book, and I really loved it. So I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of my favorite books of the year so far, and I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait for the second book, which comes out in February, and I I'm so excited. I think it comes out February 27th, 2018. I'm so excited for it, and I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm definitely going to read it as soon as it comes out, and I will try to do a review of it so that there's a review of both of the books on my channel. So that is about it for my review of Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know if you've read this book down below, because I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it, because I absolutely loved it, and I definitely need to talk about it with someone because I really enjoyed it. So if you've read it, definitely let me know down below, and if you haven't, read it and then come back and talk to me about it in the comments. But for now, if you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe down below if you want to see more of my videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!